It's the same as before, but except for that we're live, and then
Yeah, right. Mark,
we're live. I see my face.
Mark, you need to turn on your red lights. Where are your red lights?
Oh, you like the red lights?
Yeah.
Ziggy set office to red.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Now everybody's colorful. Oh, hey, chatters. Who we got in the chat tonight? We got a bunch of people in the chat. We got Grinwing and Jabaruga.
Man, you found the chat so fast.
I don't know. Well, it's because I can sign into it with OBS, which is fantastic.
OBS, I had that once. It's not pleasant.
Well, I have a souped up version of it that's designed for Twitch.
I took a pill for it.
I took the blue pill.
Oh, okay. Different OBS.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I think it's IBS.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I'd be shitting.
OBS.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Oh, that sets the precedent for the show, folks. We're going to swear the shit out of the show.
All right.
Whiskey Flipper. Hey, by the way, we should probably post in a couple of our normal social outlets. And actually, I feel like I'm missing a couple of people here. And we're on an off night, and it's close to New Year. So there's probably people like traveling and don't give a crap about podcasts.
This might be the closest to New Year's we've ever gone live.
Yeah, I mean, last year we had a special show on Wednesday night with a guest. Because I went back and looked.
Oh.
So that's how I know that shit.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, like, well, how does he know that? That's weird. Like, how does he remember all the way back to 2020? That just doesn't make sense. Well, I looked. I cheated, okay? I looked.
You're informed.
Yeah, I am deformed.
No, informed.
Yes.
Hey, Steve Murky's in the chat. Grinwing. Oh, Joe Drosen. You guys, welcome. It's looking good.
Can I call you, Glenn, can I call you a pinball super genius? Let me do that.
No.
Super genius.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to Steve Murky. First time chat from viewer. That's pretty awesome. What am I, day old veal? Says Jabber. You know what? Yeah. So, okay. So I'm gonna read this. Whiskey Flipper says he had a work Teams meeting and he sat in front of his games and all these muckety mucks from his company asked, "Where did you find that dynamic background with all those pinball machines?" So he stood up and knocked on the glass. He says, "Is it live or is it Memorex?" That's totally Gen X. I love that.
I just learned my wife is an Xennial.
An Xennial because she's so close to the Gen X timeline?
Yeah, she thought she was Gen X, and then people were like, no, you're millennial. And it took 2 weeks.
Is she 81, 82? What year?
She's 85, the best year.
Okay, so 80 is... I think 80 is the cutoff for Gen X.
No, 85 actually. Oh, you're right. 80 is the cutoff for Gen X, right?
Yeah.
You're also young.
I'm 52, so...
Yeah, no. I think she's young. We're old.
Oh, that's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Now that I got that.
Yeah. I stole from the cradle of some kind of thing.
I'm 1972.
I'm 69. 69! Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so we're going to skip gadgets tonight because Brian's not here.
Ah.
By the way, we should talk a little bit about Brian's Spy Hunter episode.
Oh, yeah. Now, was that the particular game he was unloading at the time of the incident?
No, he was loading games onto his trailer from Starcade into the back of his trailer. And these three dudes in a Chevy Cobalt decided to drive up into the back of his van his trailer while he's in it.
So they went up the ramp.
Yeah. In their car. They like pulled a Knight Rider.
Was
Spy
it
hunter.
to be funny, or I don't really know what.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
Were they high-fiving as they got, drew closer?
I don't know, but he whipped out his
in a Cobalt.
Yeah,
that wouldn't happen in a Cobalt.
yeah. They're like, we're high-fiving in the Cobalt. I mean, it looked like a Chevy Cobalt. It could have been something else. It was a sedan, a 4-door sedan, with a Chevy logo on it. Anyway, Brian got a bunch of pictures of it and called the police, and it was a mess. I listened to him talk for 25 minutes about it, and I will not bore the audience with that story, but I will tell you, Brian has the absolute worst luck of any host on this show.
Oh yeah, totally. I think every 3 months he gets an incident.
Either the trailer is stolen, or the trailer is stolen again, or he has a guy shear off the front of his brand new BMW.
Right. Wait, what was the time when he rode in the window of his own car as it was being?
Oh yeah. It was being stolen. His BMW was being stolen this year.
Oh, okay,
and he jumped into the window, and that BMW was totaled. And then they started looking for another BMW. And then here's the problem: they're looking for BMWs in the first place. Why are you looking for that German piece of trash anyway? So, here they are looking for their next most expensive car that they shouldn't have, and they get it. And 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks later, like a week and a half later, the whole front of the car is sheared off. We're lucky Brian's even here.
Yeah, and then he had a game stolen this year too, right?
Oh yeah, well that was, I mean. He's had a couple of games stolen. A couple of his prototype games and some games were stolen in his trailer a couple of years ago. And then this year he put a Q*bert out that was polyurethane, and it was drying. Oh. And this kid took it and then left it out in the frickin' rain. I mean, like, it's totaled. And he was the nicest guy about it to this guy. He should have been pummeling him. In my opinion, like
I would have sent an invoice for a new CNC Repro Q*bert.
Here's my $3,000 bill for what would have been an awesome Q*bert. Thank you very much.
Wow.
I feel partially responsible. The Knight Rider incident. He was loading up games to bring down to Mankato because that weekend I was doing a event for Cambria, their Christmas party.
Oh.
And so I had 8 pinball machines on location, and Brian helped me out, and he gave me 8 arcades. So he was coming down to help me that weekend. I feel a bit responsible, but sorry.
Well, Whiskey Flipper says, and then there was the time he did surgery, and afterwards he couldn't find his watch. I think it was a junior mint. If I'm not.
It was a junior mint that he did as well. Yeah. Actually, that's
and it is all Glenn's fault. Christopher Graham is blaming it on you as well.
Thank
now,
you.
keep in mind that Christopher Graham will never buy a new pinball machine from you, and he's happy with his garbage machine that he likes to call the flaming trash can of love. Well, I made that up. I don't know what he what does he call that thing again?
Dumpster?
The dumpster fire. Yeah.
Dumpster fire, yeah.
Yeah, he loves that thing.
I used to have an alien poker that, it liked to crack solder just randomly.
Yeah.
Oh, you resoldered that? I'm going to crack it again. What do you think of that? And I'm like, what the hell? Like it was in a different, continuum and in aging at a different pace than everything else.
Well, hey, how was you guys' holiday, by the way? Christmas all right? Anybody get some? I had a great Christmas Eve.
Tell us about it.
I'm not going to talk about Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve was fun. I went to Christine's house and hung out with her kids, and we opened presents. And her mom is real sick, so because of COVID, she didn't want to have Christmas, which sucks because it's always at her. Christmas Eve is always at her house. Mm-hmm. But what we did is we all went over there, and we Christmas caroled. So we sang her Silent Night and gave her some Tom and Jerry mix and some brandy and some bourbon, or rum actually. And so she's not gonna drink it, but she'll at least get to sip it. And we made her Christmas nice. So that made me feel, I got the warm fuzzies on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I got to hang out with Aaron, RcadeRadio, who we've had on the show, and his I guess she's not new, but his girlfriend / wait, she's not his fiance yet. His dad is engaged, but he's not engaged. Anyway,
Wow.
I was at their house, and no guests, stayed, or many did not show up. So it was like my wife and I, and then Aaron and his girlfriend, and his dad and his girlfriend, and then the two. Oh man, I can never remember their names. We used to call them Boy 1 and Boy 2. Damn, Anyway, they're really nice. They're seniors, these twins that Aaron's dad's engaged to their mom. And actually, we even got to see their jazz band perform. It was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
That is good. That is. Ours was very uneventful. I mean, very low key and just hung out.
That's nice. Every once in a while, it's not. You know what? I used to with my ex-wife. We used to have these huge Christmas Eve parties, and they were super stressful because the whole house had to be cleaned, and 35 people were showing up, and then 10 people on top of that. So you end up cycling 40, 50 people through your house in an evening. Yeah. It's not fun. And
you make food for 100.
Yeah, I know. Right?
It's really that's my wife.
Ridiculous.
She's from Oklahoma. She's a great Southern belle, and she will make food for 100 frickin' people when 10 are showing up.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. We're gonna have to ask you how you met your wife. Okay, so let's. Well, wait a minute. First of all, I want to bring up one thing before we start the show.
Yes, of course. Christmas 1986. I was with a friend, and he apparently had a credit card that he had borrowed from his grandma. And we were at the hotel, and apparently we were waiting for him to check in so we could party. And then police with big guns appeared and arrested him. And then I had to go to the police station on Christmas Eve in 1986. And the police were just, oh, man, I wish you weren't a minor. And I'm like, ew,
I think this has gone off the rails now. Okay, so
what happened?
Before we get the show going, I want to post something in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can I even post stuff in the chat? I don't even know if I can.
I don't know. Are you?
But we're gonna try something new tonight. After the show's done tonight, around 9, whatever. I can't post anything in the chat. Why can't I post?
What happens when you do it?
It just it won't let me.
It ignores you.
There we go. Here we go. So
double click.
Here we go. So
Discord.gay? No, GG. Okay, got it.
Okay, that's nice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Anyway, would you like to buy a pronoun, Mark? So
awkward. I was so sure too.
Wow. So anyway, tonight after the show, we're going to try something called the after show. Huh?
Oh, okay.
So if people want to join in after the show's done around 9-ish, not whenever we finish up, we're going to have us for as long as we want. And possibly Glenn, if he wants to even meet some of the chatters after the show.
We'll see if he's tired of us.
Yeah, he's like,
I like
screw
people.
this.
I'm a people person.
I'm a people person. Plus, I'm trying to make money, and I want to sell pinballs, so I'll damn sure be there. All right, so, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time on Sprockets.
When we dance?
When we dance.
Live from KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Arcade Radio. Where I live.
And furthermore, and such, yes, and welcome to the show. This is season 6, right? Mm-hmm. Episode 4, right? Mm-hmm. Of the Arcade Radio podcast. Today is Thursday, December 30th, 2021, and the time is now approximately 7:31 p.m. Central. I'm your host, Professor Adam Octavius. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark. You can never get enough of that great tasting Duff Shields. And joining us tonight, he's a dealer for Stern, Jersey Jack, American Pinball, a pinball repair expert, a restorationist, a developer of new stair-climbing pinball technology, and even runs his own arcade. Ladies and gentle dudes, a warm round of applause, please, for Mr. Glen VonMaluski.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you. Appreciate it. I wanted to dance if I want to. That was a fantastic soundtrack. I love that.
You could lead. Well, thanks. It kind of changes every season a little bit. I'm kind of thinking we might go back to season 1 after this. I'm not.
Oh, that would be kind of wild.
Yeah. And actually, for one of the after parties, I think we should do a couple of the listeners were asking for me to release my stuff, and I keep saying I'm going to, and I'm not. I'm kind of hemming and hawing over it, and I should just play. I should have a DJ night. We'll just play all of our stuff.
Right.
Can you make me a mixtape?
I sure could.
Yeah.
Do you want it on a 90-minute tape or?
How about on beta? That'd be good.
I could do that. Actually, that's funny, Mark. You're just reminding me when I was in high school, a friend of mine and I decided that tapes were too short, and he was living in my. He had a problem with his
Basement?
stepdad, so he was living in my basement.
Oh.
So we used to hang out all the time, and he was a really good friend of mine. And actually, tonight I helped him move his boat, believe it or not. So anyway, he and I used to hang out, and we thought, well, we should make a nocturnal mix. And so we're like, this is too short. We can't fit it on a 60 or 9-minute tape. And we got the idea, let's record it onto a VHS tape. So we made a 6-hour mix using a 5-disc changer. We put a bunch of stuff in there, and we hit shuffle, and we let it run, and we recorded the whole thing onto a VHS tape. And then we just played it back.
Nice.
It was freaking crazy, right?
Was it at least a hi-fi stereo? Or...
Oh yeah, it was hi-fi stereo for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're right on the cusp of that
yeah.
mono VHS. With
right on.
Oh,
yeah.
I think in '84 was when the big change.
Oh, this was in the 90s. Yeah, so.
Oh man, way in the
89 maybe. I think it was like
how old are you again? Gosh, dang it.
72. I'm just a couple of years younger than me.
3 years younger than me. I still don't get it.
No, I think it's 2 almost exactly.
Oh.
Right? Because you're 71 now, right?
No, I'm 69. 69! You know what? When I was a kid, I wish I had realized what the hell I could be yelling that all the time, and no repercussions because.
Right, 68, but not you didn't know. I mean,
no, I didn't know. Now.
All right, so I'll go first with what you've been working on. I'm on a break right now from work, so I thought I'd work on Fire Truck. And I'm getting closer to fixing the rear ladder part of the truck will not steer correctly. So this is my board set.
Oh.
And I've got tons of new chips on here. But H10 is the chip that controls the steering. And I replaced that with a socketed chip. And I've checked all my connections. But now my friend Billy Seven, who wanted to be on the show tonight, but is having some buddies over. I think they might be listening tonight. But he's going to bring over a scope. We're going to scope this thing and check out the waveform to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to. I've also done the research and found out the data line that I'm looking for is on pin 6. So, and that's what the MPU interpolates as a steering maneuver. So I'm close to figuring out what the problem is. And I have another one of these boards, and also Todd Tuckey is working on sending me a printed version of the second printing of the Fire Truck manual, because this board is based on that documentation. Atari used to use a couple of different chips, and they did this on Asteroids as well. But some of their multiplexer chips are interchanged with other chips, and so there's like little, what do they call that? Kinesis wire, connectic. What is the wire called?
Yes, telekinesis.
Telekinesis wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that
Xbox
wire,
Connect.
right? So that wire jumpers all the proper traces, and they can put in a different chip. So that's documented in the manual that I'm getting, which also has any of the other changes that happen on this board. And I have another board set are not set because it's only one. I have another PCB that I've been kind of tinkering with. So if I effed this one up, I'll work on that one next and see if I can get going. But I'm really, my goal is by January 1st to have Fire Truck steering correctly and then put the whole thing back together. And I have moved all the games around in my arcade, and Fire Truck's now in the middle of the living room. So Mark, it much easier to get to than the last time you were here.
It was still nice.
Yep. And so everything's navigable now. And I moved Super Strike right next to the bar.
I saw that. That is right where it belongs.
And it looks so great. And it's
I love Super Strike.
I can't believe the popularity. I got Tron was my first arcade game, and that's a favorite of mine, right? So
wait, is that Tron that was your first? Is that the one I own?
No, the second. That's the second one.
Oh, okay.
The Tron, a cocktail I owned.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun, but people don't like Tron. It's hard. It's a hard game, and it's pattern based, right? So it's not the best game. Like Pac-Man is more fun to people than Tron, but I think Tron is like a marvel as far as like video game to from a movie is concerned.
Right.
It's definitely a marvel. It's got all the music. It's got the feel. You definitely feel like you're in it. And that came out before my second favorite movie game, which would be Star Wars. So, and maybe Star Trek. Star Trek's pretty freaking good. So, because you get in the cockpit version at least, where welcome aboard, Captain. But anyway,
welcome aboard, Captain.
Exactly. That's very good. I love that. So anyway, So what I was gonna say is like, you never know what game's gonna be popular in your arcade. Right now, you know what pinball is going to be popular in arcade, but it surprises you. Like I got an EM pinball, and it was Pioneer, which is the 2-player version of 1976. People love that game, and I have Xenon, which is harder than hell, and Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, which is also kind of a high learning curve because there's a skill shot, and the maze is confusing to people at first. But my favorite is Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man in my lineup because of how fun it is. Xenon is just a favorite because Suzanne Ciani is sexy as hell, and we had her on the show. And
let's have her back on the show and talk to her for 4 hours.
I took a picture of a quadraphonic record the other day, and I was going to send her it, and I thought, no, that's a little stalkery. So anyway, but you never know which games are going to be most popular. And guess what?
Both of our names on it, and then it's okay.
Super Strike and Monaco GP, most popular games in my arcade.
Oh, wow.
And every time people play Super Strike, they're like, you can never get rid of this game.
Right.
They're just like blown away about how fun it is. And I would expect, like Mark, you got a couple for like $50 each. I got mine for $300.
I can't believe it.
I think they're steals at both those prices. So anyway, moving on to what you've been working on, Mark, why don't you tell us what you've been working on?
Okay, so let's see. My Discs of Tron Environmental.
Yeah.
I finally got the lamp sequencer fixed. These are the red lights. There's like 5 on each side that are above your head. What's funny is that I went in there and I told my wife, look for the lights that are above your head. And then she looked like directly up at the ceiling part and ignored the little angled part. And she's like, and so like I'm getting them to light up. I like at that point before I fix the transistors, I'm like making things happen to force them to light up. She's like, nope, nothing's happening. I mean, I do see some red lights in front of me, and I'm like, that's above your head. Whatever. It's my fault. I dated a tall woman, so damn it. Anyway, then I decided to talk to CD Jumper on Clav. That's Chris Jump, I believe.
Yep.
And
Chris Jumper.
So the last thing that doesn't work in this cabinet is the flashers. There's 2 lights at the bottom, by the floor, and I'm pretty sure the UV light that's flashing on that's supposed to lighting up your control panel also flashes. I don't know what the scenario is, but they have never flashed. I can never hear that relay switch and do anything fun. And so he sent me an AC sync that will work with a switcher. And it's basically one of the chips that are on the linear power supply in an EDOT but it's sort of like an inline adapter. I accidentally left it outside. So hopefully that will make my flashing PCB work. That'll be kind of fun. I kind of doubt it though. I think there's something else wrong. But yeah. So that showed up today. Let's see what else. I replaced a fuse holder in my elevator action. I bought. You know what's funny is I bought that like a year ago, and I don't know what happened. What happened with time and being able to do stuff? Like when things show up in the mail, you should just do it right there, right?
Do it. Yes.
Exactly. And so I noticed that I had the two big blue type replacement, the big caps that go into an MCR power supply. So I went in and replaced those, and I did this thing with the thing on the elevator action. But so in going into my Discs of Tron, I found that somebody had just kind of, what the hell? Let's just stick this in there, kind of, with the big capacitors. So where 100,000 microfarad capacitor was supposed to be, there was like a 50, and the voltage was like off by 10. And I'm like, what the hell? How come this thing hasn't blown up? And then I remembered it actually has blown up. I didn't know why. So yeah, that was enlightening. Although now I'm bypassing that all with the switcher, so it's sort of like, why am I replacing these if I'm going to use the switcher and do this? But I'm like, you know what? I kind of want it to be all in there, so that it's complete. In the case of my accidental death of any kind, it'll be able to be picked up on. Yeah, so that's all there is.
Okay, speaking of accidental death, give us a briefing on your viewing of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. So I was watching Spider-Man 1 week before Christmas, I think. No, it was Sunday, the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then there was a dude, and he was talking. This is I'm going to simulate the level. Hey, what's going on with your car? I hear that the radiator is, leaking fluid. About that level, there's some fucking asshole behind me talking to his, I guess, girlfriend or whatever. And then all the people are like, they're giving him the head turn. They're giving him the double head turn, and he's oblivious, does not see the head turners, just keeps going. And then I'm like, so I look directly at them and I'm like, could you just not talk? Like, can you wait till like the movie's over and then you can talk? And then they're like talking louder. They're like, they're like, shut up or whatever. I don't exactly remember the story. And then I made a mistake. I did say, shut the heck up. Oh. And that sounded a lot like shut the fuck up. And so they interpreted it as shut the fuck up. And then the girl was like, that's disrespectful and blah, blah, blah. And then they were even louder.
Oh, my God.
And then I'm like, God, and then I'm like, shh. Then I was just going straight into shushing.
Oh, yeah. The shush mode. Shush mode.
Just shushing. And then they did shush, by the way. But then I could hear the guy going, I'm going to beat his ass. And then I'm like, is this guy serious? There's no way. We're like in the middle of a fully populated theater. And for about 2 minutes, I can hear him, and she's like, "No, you don't need to be doing that." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it." And he's like, "No, come on, don't do that. We're in public, blah blah blah." And then, like before I know it, he's in front of me, and then he grabs me, and then he bashes me back. And this is not like a fun story. This is like how I got beat up at Spider-Man. And then I go like, I'm trying to avoid him. My goal is not to fight him back. My goal is just to escape. And like I'm rolling down the stairs at the theater. I'm at the front of the theater at that point, and then he's like right on top of me. And then I for some reason I realize, Mark, you work out. Why don't you try to stop him from being able to hit you? So I grabbed him by both his wrists, and then he was like, he couldn't move, and I'm like, thank God I did something, And then eventually, like, there's all these people on top of him trying to get him off me, and then they pull him away, and then I'm like, what's the right point to release his wrist? And I did, and then I like scooched away and stuff like that. But it was a terrible night. It happened 15 minutes into the movie, and we did not get to watch the rest of the movie. They had actually stopped the movie at that point. The police came. He escaped. The police did not get to talk to him, but it was assigned seating at a theater where I think you have to pay with a credit card. So I basically got a sprain/fracture on a ankle due to the rolling down of the stairs. Yeah. And I got a big laceration on the back of my head from the very first thing that he did to me, and I had to have 2 staples in my head. But you know what? fuck that guy. I'm not PTSD. I'm not triggered or whatever. I'm not like sad. I'm like, I gotta be an F. I'm all traumatized. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, fuck that guy. I stopped him from like doing anything to me and whatever. I mean, shit like that happens, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen in junior high. Or maybe I am. I don't know.
I hear you, brother. That's terrible. And I'm so glad you're not dead.
Oh yeah. I'm glad he didn't have like weapons.
I would have to interview somebody to take your place on this show.
I hope it would be somebody good.
Nobody's as good as you, Mark. I don't even know how this show would exist.
You would have to tell them they have to write all the show
Yeah,
notes.
I know. Like, speaking of which, we should probably move on to the next segment. What do you think?
Well, I mean, did we ask Glenn what he's working on?
Oh no, we didn't. Glenn, what have you been working on?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Well, this week I have a Terminator 2 going out, and that was kind of a giggle for me. Somebody had put in an alternate speaker in Terminator 2, and there were these wires hanging out from where the power cord is. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they tied into the subwoofer. So somebody put a subwoofer on a Terminator 2 pinball.
That's kind of cool.
I didn't know it had that impactful
range
of a soundtrack that
right.
you really needed to feel the bass.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and cut those, and yeah, that's out now.
Jin, 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 jin.
So was there a separate subwoofer that you had to pull out, or was it just?
No, it was like for an external big heavy, and I'm just imagining, right? Like, what the hell did they tie this into?
I have one of those. It's like this giant speaker. It's under my Tron and is on all the time. So when we turn our Tron Legacy pin on, it sounds. The neighbors can hear it, and they're like, "Who is beating up people in there?"
Right. And then I do have a Williams Hurricane that I'm working on right now. It was one of those deals. It's a good customer of mine. I won't bash it, but you look at the playfield pics and you look at the back glass and you're like, oh, this looks fantastic. Until you get to the cabinet where they didn't show you some very creative bracketry that's been used to hold it together. So
yeah,
I'm a little saddened by that. But
well, all you can do is reinforce it and hope it's put some chewing gum and super glue in there and hope it holds.
Yeah, a little JB Weld, and we'll get it going.
I mean, like I had this Tron game that I was restoring, and I dropped it, and the whole back had to be replaced. And then I sold it to this sucker just to get it out of my house.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Mark to say something.
Oh, I'm chatting with the chatters about getting beat up.
I sold it to Mark.
Oh.
You what?
Mark.
Nothing.
What'd you sell?
Nothing. Everything was on the up and up with that game.
Mint condition.
Mint condition.
Are we talking about the Tron?
Yes, we are. We are.
I mean, really, the only thing that failed is the memory chip, but otherwise,
oh really?
It's fine.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's funny. I have like another Tron, like I bought for $500.
Yeah.
And I just stole the chip that's supposed to be in that position.
Oh, sure.
I should fix that.
Did you? Was it the Dallas memory that died, or?
It's it's whatever the one that's in the big thick chip with the green text on top.
Yeah,
Why can't I think of the?
That's the Dallas memory.
Yeah, right.
So that finally died, huh? Oh.
It did, yeah.
There's a better replacement for that anyway. You can get like a solid state replacement now.
Send me a message. I mean, I bought a ColecoVision power supply replacement today.
I know, and that's so cool, isn't it?
It's great. And does it go into the case?
So no. So the plug, all you do is you take this thing and you plug it into where the plug goes on the back. Right. And then there's a USB. So there's a Coleco USB power supply replacement you can buy from Stone Age Gamer. And they're going to sell out in a couple of days because they always do. But on the back of your ColecoVision, has that 3-prong weird ass plug?
Right.
Well, you plug this into the back and it has a USB connector, and you just buy a high amperage, like a 2 whatever amp USB charger.
Really?
Yeah. And you plug the USB-C into the back of your frickin' ColecoVision and you're off to the races.
No way.
Yep.
It replaces the
big frickin' brick, which mine doesn't work anymore. So I need it actually. And I have another brick that sort of works that I can use for my peripherals. But, because I think like the steering controller uses one too or something. But you might want to buy two of them. I mean,
I know, right?
I bought one. I'm gonna try it out, but
we're ColecoVisionists, Glenn.
Yeah, we're ColecoVisionists.
Ever...
I'm also I bought also for fun. I mean, because while we're off the rails, why the hell not? I bought a Franklin 500 Ace computer, a Franklin Ace 500 computer.
That's cool. Is that one of the ones that has like the key so that you can't use the keyboard?
It's an Apple II clone.
Oh, okay.
It's an Apple IIc clone actually.
Dang.
Comes with 256K of memory.
Oh.
I feel like Franklin did PCs as well.
Well, Franklin did PCs for a very short time, but they were sued by Apple. And
of course.
They argued in court, because they freaking stole their technology. They actually admitted to burning the ROMs out of an Apple II.
Oh no!
So and then they argued in court, and this is how screwed things were back then. They argued in court that Apple should have to license those to people to be competitive. So the judge,
Compaq had the right idea.
The judge ruled in their favor temporarily. So Franklin got to make Apple II clones and PC clones for a while, but there was an appeal and Apple won, and then they had to shut down all of their cloning operations, which included not just Apples, but PCs.
Wow.
So Franklin then pivoted to handheld, word processors and all the other stuff. And they actually ended up making more money that way because they didn't have to license anything from people.
Right. Smart.
Yeah. But I mean, the Franklin to me was like this voodoo magic thing. My cousin got one and I'm like, how's this playing Apple software? I don't get it. But anyway, I have one and I've been working on that power supply as well. So, okay. So we've talked about, we've blown this out of the water. We're going to have to.
We're still in the intro part of the show.
I know.
Holy
this
crap.
is great.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Fan-flippin-tastic. All right, so let's move on to the next part of the show, which we like to call the news.
Yes.
I love this part of the show because it's all about me.
The arcade news, arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, selected, celebrities, world record holders, operators, coin-out, conventions. The arcade news.
We interrupt the ventilated electric.
And now, the arcade news with Adam Stevens.
That's us. That's me. I'm Adam Stevens, and welcome to the show. This is the part where we read some news articles and you all go, wow, that's interesting. So from NintendoLife.com, a lost Namco title that inspired the first live-action video game movie is coming to Switch. False!
But it actually came. It already came, but, whatever. It's fine.
So, I can't believe this is actually true. This game, there's not... Okay, let's talk about the article. So Nintendo Switch's arcade archives recently released Mirai Ninja, a Japan-only Namco title from 1988, which was never ported to any home system and holds a special place in video game history, apparently.
Tell me more.
So released in the same year as Cade Amiya's 1988 movie Mirai Ninja, Kaigumo Kinan Gaiden, known as Cyber Ninja in the United States, Warlord in Canada, and Robo Ninja in the UK.
Robo Ninja is definitely the best name. Why did they just pick that for everything?
I don't know. That's a great name. So Mirai Ninja was powered by the Namco System 2 coin-op board and looks a lot like other Ninja titles from the period, such as Shinobi and Ninja Spirit, which I think are both great games.
I really like Shinobi. I kind of regret selling it to Uncle Tiggy.
Yeah. So Amamiya, it should be noted, has since worked on video games like the Onimusha series and Shin Megami Tensei 4, which I am totally unfamiliar with. But interestingly, the game isn't actually based on the film, as is so often the case. It's actually the other way around. Namco was actively involved with the Mirai Ninja production rather than using it under license. So it was even involved with the movie's distribution, making it one of the very first examples of a live-action video game movie, even predating the likes of Super Mario Brothers, Double Dragon, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat. So where Tron was, a movie and then had a video game,
Right.
in 82. This is like the first example of a video game that was turned into a movie, which is kind of weird because it's 88 seems kind of late in the game, right? Like
No kidding. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we had dial-up by then.
right.
So,
I know. I'm
well,
like,
for Usenet, but
I'm
close enough.
2400 baud, baby.
My Rockwell modem was screaming.
Oh, that's funny. I had a Rockwell 33.6. That's pretty good. You know,
You guys are rich. I had a Haze.
yeah. Well, better than you. No, U.S. Robotics. They made some good shit.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
But anyway, so the other news article I have is from Kotaku. Yeah, because we don't.
This story is crazy.
So axe wielding man. Oh shit! Axe wielding man was locked people inside an arcade, smashed games in a 2-day rampage. That's right.
2 days.
I mean, this seems totally made up,
This really happened.
but it's not. On the evening of Sunday, December 14th, 2021, a patron of the Sea Cave Arcade and Bar in the Bywater neighborhood of New Orleans allegedly began covering a vintage arcade cabinet with stickers from a supermarket price gun.
Can't believe
I'm like,
this is how you open.
right?
What?
So
How did he get the
The
price?
freaking
gun?
arcade owner, Judah Lee, asked him to leave, and the customer responded by asking if he was interested in dying. That was the beginning of the really blanked up night at the Sea Cave. So, as reported by NOLA.com, the customer, who goes by the name of the Wolf, like, who names themselves? Like,
The wolf.
yeah, like, I am R2D2. You shall refer to me henceforth as C3PO. And the Emperor. By the
Isn't
way,
the wolf the guy who cleans up your mess, like in Pulp Fiction?
for the rest of the episode, please refer to me as Doctor Who. So,
Okay.
so this guy was relatively a new member of the Sea Cave who had already developed a reputation for being rude and making other patrons really uncomfortable. So after an initial confrontation, I guess, Leah, the owner, again, refunded, quote unquote, the Wolf's membership and kicked his ass out. So out in the parking lot, the Wolf brandished a butterfly knife. Oh my God. Oh, flashback
What?
to
I
my,
used
like,
to have a
yeah, right? Didn't we all know somebody who had I had a butter knife, a butterfly. Yeah, I had a butter knife. I also had a butterfly. I also had a butterfly comb. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
They
that
were
was
like
awesome.
a butterfly knife, except for there was like a thin comb inside. Anyway, so he brandished his butterfly comb, and the official, it's the official knife of somebody trying to look cool, and it mentioned owning an assault rifle, and then left at like 7:30 p.m. that night. 1.5 hours later, he returned and allegedly locked the arcade's front doors with a bicycle lock, trapping customers and employees inside. Then he started smashing windows, sending glass flying everywhere, and the employees and the customers escaped through the back door. They called police, but by the time they arrived, the Wolf had already fled. This is a freaking episode of Superman from 1941, isn't it?
I can't believe it.
I mean, so later that night, according to the owner, Lee, the vandal came back. And Lee says that he watched on the security cameras from his home as the Wolf vandalized the arcade with an axe. A freaking axe!
That's nuts.
Inside and out. Again, Lee called the cops. Again, they arrived too late. Thank you, police, for doing your job. And, we'll send them a letter and see what happens. Between 1 a.m. and 2:30 a.m., so the Wolf smashed every monitor, arcade machine, television, and window in Sea Cave. Holy
Jesus.
crap!
90 minutes of unmitigated. Ew.
And by the way, that guy should get the chair for what he did.
Yes.
I mean, Lee estimates total damage between 30,000 and 50,000. I can't. I mean, let's just do the math. With arcade prices being and pinball prices what they are today,
Yeah, that's 5 machines, isn't it?
it seems
yeah, with,
exactly
with the recent
right,
auction
right.
activity, yes.
It seems
That is about
ridiculously low. Like it's got to be 3 times that amount at least.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't say in this article how many games are in the establishment. So
There's more, by the way. That may have been that's not the second time he returned.
by the way, if you want to see all this carnage, go to the Sea Caves Facebook page and you can be heartbroken like the rest of us. But wait, there's more. If you order now, Monday evening at around 10 p.m., a group of employees and regular patrons were helping clean up the mess when the wolf allegedly returned. I hate that word, allegedly. He fucking showed up.
He returned.
He fucking showed up. And then this time he had a freaking handgun. What the god crazy? What? I mean, seriously? So according to Arcader, Matt Ray, the group were taping up a busted window when Mr. Wolf ran up behind them, gun in hand, and shouted, "Tell him to shut it down. I'm cartel." What? So the group fled, and then the quote-unquote wolf ran off. So the New Orleans police arrested the wolf around 11:45 p.m. Monday night, but have yet to release further details. In the meantime, the arcade is in shambles, but safe.
Insane.
But safe.
That's
is
like
this your C-Cade? Like C-Cade or S-E-A-Cade or
Sea cave. Like, oh, I'm gonna go swim into the
I'm gonna
sea
go to the sea cave. Like
underwater.
Yep.
Okay.
S-E-A, right.
Yep.
Cave.
Sorry. Yep.
Amazing.
That is insane.
Yeah,
That's probably the worst owning an arcade story ever.
That is also the best I've ever stuck with the news in the last 2 years.
Amazing.
Wow.
Mark was like, he's just gonna ditch this after the first.
I
10
totally shit canned the other story. I was like, forget that story.
I could
I'm
not
even gonna
pass this up. This is unbelievable. Like, I mean, this is we did a story like this a couple years back about a guy that broke into a place, but it was nothing like this.
No.
Nothing. I mean, this is what the world we live in now. You know, it's freaking crazy. So, yeah. So that's the news. I think we should move on to the next segment. I'm gonna.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
Back to the cave with
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Back to the Cade. Wait, Back to the Cade? Yeah, that's what we're called,
Back
right?
to the Cade. Yeah.
So tonight we're gonna briefly, at least this is the part where I talk before we go to what's in the Juke, and I discuss something that is somewhat relevant to arcades, and that will be the topic is The Matrix. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but there is a Matrix sequel out.
Mixed reviews.
Mixed, very polarizing.
Yeah.
I think if, from what I can tell, if you are not open to sort of new interpretations and, a delineation from this, what you think is going to happen, you're not going to like it. But if you're like, if these are like your favorite characters and they can do, like whatever is going to happen, is as long as it's somewhat plausible, you're probably going to like it. Did you see it, Adam? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. Actually, I probably won't see it. I did have a friend see it and tell me that he enjoyed it for what it was. But with the very mixed reviews and like a 2.7 score on Google, I'm less inclined to watch it. So I have other things that I want. I do want to see No Way Home.
My God, it's so good. It's worth being beaten up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see I've seen Afterlife. Loved that.
I did actually see No Way Home, by the way. The next day, my wife and I went to a different theater. Good. And then we saw it. But what about Glenn? Did you see The Matrix?
I did not. No.
Oh, okay.
I tend to stay away from theaters because honestly, they kind of gross me out.
It's on HBO Max. So do you have HBO Max? Maybe you can just go watch it after this.
I could do that.
Yeah.
At least for this year.
I've got access to someone else's HBO Max.
HBO Max. Wait, I hooked you up, right? It's still logged in.
I know.
Right?
I was gonna set up a separate profile that said, D-bag or something.
I created that Wonder Woman profile specifically for you.
Oh my God!
You are my Wonder Woman.
I am totally gonna use that.
Oh. Do it.
Wakanda Forever or Wonder Woman. I don't know which one. But close enough. Yeah. Yeah. So, there is the second, how they usually make movies in three halves.
I like boobies in three
acts. The second act is slow and kind of boring. They bring Jada Pinkett Smith back, and
don't tell us anything. You can't tell us anything.
That is not telling you anything. As a matter of fact, like when the movie was over, I'm like, man, they made Jada Pinkett Smith look weird. And I told that to my wife, and she's like, when the hell was she in the movie? And I'm like, she was the girl in the middle of the movie. They called her Nairobi and stuff. And she's like, that did not look like her. That looked like a woman that had, what's it called when half your face becomes paralyzed?
Stroke.
I don't.
yeah.
Bell's palsy.
It was Bell's palsy. Yeah, it looked like she had double Bell's palsy. No offense to any of my friends with Bell's palsy. I feel for you, whatever. But it was terrible, and so I can really point to just that negative to sort of drag you down. The third act is fun, and the ending is fun. And they had such a great sense of humor. And there's a tag, at the very end of the movie after all the credits rolls. That's hilarious. That is very kind of irreverent. So, stick around for that, or at least jump to the end for that.
All right.
Okay, so I think I've had my little say here.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that's it. Where I'm allowed to speak. And
I would have loved to have seen a Matrix pinball.
That'd be cool.
Topic.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, if we could pick, indiscriminately pick titles right now, why the hell would you not do a Matrix pinball?
Right.
I think it'd be great too. Like, you could pull the plunger back and it would go, whoa.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I've played Alien, the pinball, which I know they only made a few of, and that reminds me of the Matrix for some reason. I mean, I know it reminds me of Alien as well, but
Alien, the Ridley Scott film.
Yeah, there's a pinball machine that was made briefly.
Yeah, because there's an Alien pinball made by Atari back in the day too.
No, that's
a wide body.
This is more recent. I don't really know.
Oh
the
no,
story.
it was called Space Invaders, but it was totally Alien.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Bally's.
I get it.
Was it Bally?
Yep.
I thought it was Atari. Okay, Bally. Sweet. And that pinball is in Spaceballs. Right?
Was that Pinball Brothers that made Alien? I forget exactly.
Yes.
Are they out of business? What's going on with them?
Who knows?
They still have a website.
Actually, somebody in the chat said Battlestar Galactica pinball. That'd be awesome. I would love it.
A company called Coin Taker might have a lot of inventory for that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Season 6 edition of the What's in the Juke segment. It's the game within a game within a podcast today. We have a brain-twisting movie quote spoken by unusual speech synthesizers. Thank you. Guess the movie, and you will get
point.
Correct. And if you can guess that actor or character, you're probably going to guess the character. That's easier that they're playing.
Point.
Yeah, that's right. If you can guess both,
Full point.
correct. If you don't know, please fight it. Fight. Fight. Okay, get those Eskimo kisses ready, everybody, and let us.
Good.
Okay, here comes your first track from What's in the Juke.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet.
Oh,
Wow.
that's the quote. I mean, that's actually very clear. Let me play that again.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet.
What is that? Simon Pegg? That's pretty awesome.
So what's funny is that Whiskey Flipper says The Matrix and Agent Smith. That is correct.
Half
The Whiskey
point.
Flipper, no, he gets a full point.
Okay.
Full
got both.
point.
And by the way, guys, you get one guess because if you keep guessing, you're going to eventually figure it out.
Right. Okay, here comes your next track.
Ignorance is bliss.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. And by the way, when the person is saying this, he's eating a steak in a fancy restaurant. Whiskey Flipper is correct
Half
again
point.
with Cypher. He got a half point, and Grinwing said The Matrix.
Half point.
Nice work, you guys. All right, here comes your next track.
Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
Oh my god, what is that? That's like, okay, that does not even make sense. Let's try that again.
Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
I have no idea what that says.
Wow.
So Necros is close. He says The Frenchman. That is sort of right. I'm gonna give
Choice
Necros
is an
some
illusion
points.
created between those with power and those without.
It's like some weird Russian accent.
He is French. I mean, that is a Russian accent, but I did that to throw you off.
Yeah.
I also am having women do men's voices and men do women's voices, so that's fun. It is not top secret. I am sorry, sir, but that is incorrect.
Oh, I think we might have to.
We may have to let this one go.
Yeah. All right. When the time runs out, that's it.
Debbie does London. I am sorry, Mr. Peabody, you were incorrect.
Okay. So what was it?
It was the Merovingian from The Matrix Reloaded.
Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
It makes absolutely no sense.
This is terrible. Thank you, Eddie.
All right, let's move on to the next.
So Big Bad Brad is having a lag issue. Big Bad Brad, I recommend just rebooting the screen, hit refresh,
just
and then
F5 that shit.
Correct.
Right. We got a real fighter there. All right.
All right.
So here comes your fourth track. Who's lagging behind Eddie?
Whiskey Flipper is in the lead right now.
Who's lagging behind? Who's the guy that was lagging?
That was Big Bad Brad in 69. 69!
Big Bad Brad! All right. We're going to give you a little extra time.
4 point.
There we go.
Do you think that is your breathing now?
Oh my God, what is happening here? I don't have no idea.
Do you think that is your breathing now?
She's saying, do you think that is air you are breathing now? Mr. Peabody finally on the board.
Breathing now?
Half point.
Half point for Mr. Peabody. All right.
Somebody, what character said, do you think? There we go, Necros.
Half point.
All right, so that's pretty good. I'm actually impressed with that last round. You guys are doing great. Okay. Those clips are horrible. Okay, here comes the next one.
To deny our own impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human.
That's much better.
To deny our own impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human.
Good.
Okay. I don't know if people have noticed, but these seem to be famous. So that was not Trinity, Mr. Peabody. Yes, Whiskey Flipper, that was Mouse.
Nice.
Half point.
Half point for Mouse.
Yes.
And any other take? So far these are all from the Matrix.
A movie that we may have talked about.
Yeah, right.
Half point.
Possibly. We're halfway there.
I can't believe that people haven't just blurted out the Matrix every time. Oh, you only get one guess though, right?
They're not all the Matrix.
All right.
I learned it by watching you.
Oh wait, no, that's from last week.
Okay, everybody, here comes your next clue, and here it is.
Guns, lots of guns.
Oh my God, these are so hard.
Guns, lots of guns.
Bens, lots of Bens.
No, guns.
Oh, guns. Okay.
Yes.
I was like, Mercedes-Benz, lots of Bens.
Guns, lots of guns.
Necros has Neo. That is correct.
All right.
And I'm just waiting for somebody to say the name. Oh, Whiskey Flipper. Good job, sir. You got the Matrix.
Half point.
All right, here we go. Where are we standing right now? We're about halfway through.
Right now, Whiskey Flipper's in the lead with 3 points.
Nice.
Necros is 1.5, and then Mr. Peabody and Grimwing, they got a half point between you.
Let's fight this. Let's fight it out. Yeah.
This one I like. This next one. This is going to be good.
All right, here you go. Here comes your next clue on The Price is Right.
There is no spoon. There is no spoon. There is no spoon.
I'm going to give that to Mr. Peabody. And no, that was not the Oracle. Necros, you're close. You know what? I'm going to give it to
There is no
Necros.
spoon.
It's the kid that says there's no spoon.
Yeah, so they call him Spoon Boy.
Oh,
believe it or not.
Spoon Boy.
That is his nickname. But
point.
Right.
Good job.
All right, guys, keep fighting it out.
At this age, he's Spoon Man.
Yeah, he's like Spoon millennial. All right, here we go.
Denial is the most predictable.
Little sound garden.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Spoon boy.
Next track. Here we go.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
Boy, at least you can understand that one.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
Denial?
Mr. Peabody's smart because he pastes in the matrix every time the thing starts.
Half point.
He's slowly moving up, but not quite here.
Half point. Full point.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
So far, nobody has got it. It is not Elon Musk.
All right, when the clock expires, that's it.
The Devil and Miss Jones, great movie, by the way. Just
all right. Who was that?
That was
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
The Architect.
The Architect.
Also portrayed by Will Ferrell in the MTV Movie Awards.
Oh my.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next. What's that?
2 more to go.
2 more to go. That's it. Okay, here we go.
What's really going to bake your noodle later on is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
That's like Dr. Spatzo from like the Sound Blaster program from 1990.
I feel like that's the voice from who was the scientist, the physicist?
Hawking.
Yes, Professor Hawking.
What's really going to bake your noodle later on is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
Shall we play a game?
So I don't know if Necros or the Whiskey Flipper said that, so I'm going to give them both a half point.
Half point. Full point.
Okay.
Good.
And I guess I'm going to say Necros got Matrix, so that's good. He's getting close.
All right, here comes your last track.
It's the question that drives us. Neo, it's the question that brought you here. You know the question, just as I did.
It was really hard to find an Alvin and the Chipmunks voice. Thank you. Grinwing, you got the Matrix. And Necros Trinity, that is correct.
All right. Where are we at with the scores?
Let's see. Where are we, Mr. P? Wait, who did I say got the Matrix
Necros?
that time?
I don't know.
No, Necros got Trinity.
No,
Mr. Peabody got
Mr. Peabody,
Trinity.
yeah. Because he just keeps pasting it in.
Full point.
I'm going to say, okay, so Whiskey Flipper and Necros tied with 3.5 points.
All
Mr.
right.
Peabody in a clear lead in second place with 2 points. And Grinwing in the back with a half point.
Oh, that's good. Everybody, big round of applause.
Good job, everybody. Thanks for playing.
Nice
Cheers.
work. So now's the time when we check some voicemails.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see
People
what's
call
going on.
us?
Well,
Interesting.
at least one person does. Let's check it out.
So play the... Go ahead.
All right.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey everybody, it's your buddy, Bob Zarzadeck, control. Son of a...
What the... Wait, there's a second one apparently. Oh, that sounds like problematic for Bob there for a sec.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey everybody, sorry about that. It's still your buddy, Bob Zarzadeck, control panel expert and technician. Hey, as we close out the year 2021, I figured I'd give you guys one last phone call, since, nobody else seems to call you. I don't know what the deal is. All right, hey, I'm looking forward to hearing from Mr. Glen VonMaluski. Hope I did not butcher your name there, Glenn. Oh, and that reminds me, guys, do you know a good butcher? Yeah, let me know in the comments, okay? Now where was? Oh, Glenn, right? Yeah. So yeah, I hear you created a stair-climbing dolly. That is super exciting. I remember back, when I was a kid, and I was super scared of those, with all that crazy mayhem and the murders and whatnot. I mean, can your dolly hold a knife in his hand just as firmly as Chucky? Because, wow. Hey, I'm pretty sure Chucky wrote the book on that, Anyway, now that I think about it, I never remember seeing Chucky climb stairs. So I'm gonna think that officially your dolly's probably the first one I've heard of doing that. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, I think that's all I had to talk about for now. Hey, you guys have a happy new year. I hope to be leaving more message for you in 2023. Okay? wait. 2022. Yeah, right. That's right. My bad. Okay. All right.
Oh, that was a good one.
Good Lord.
Wow.
That was a great one.
Talk about not getting it.
I'm gonna need an old fashioned after that one.
That doesn't happen all the time, does it, Glenn? Or is that just?
That doesn't. No,
That's a one-off.
That is. Yeah, I do get some interesting calls, but the dolly that scared me the first was from Poltergeist, that little clown that was in Poltergeist, the movie.
Clowns are scary. Period.
Yeah, but it was the one that ended up under his bed. That was freaky. Caroline. Oh, hated that movie.
Trilogy of Terror. The movie with Karen Black, where the little, Cupid doll. Remember that? Where it had like giant teeth. That's the movie that's the first doll that scared me.
The first dolly that scared me was in the Twilight Zone, and it was what's her name? She's what did she says? I'm what the hell is that doll's name? I'm Talkie Tina. Remember that?
Is that
I'm
the episode,
Talkie Tina.
The living doll?
Oh, she's freaking scary as hell.
Is that the one with Telly Savalas?
No.
You sure? Oh.
Pretty sure. No, this doll was like one of the kids' dolls, and she was possessed. It was Talkie Tina. Look it up. It's freaking.
That's it. Telly Savalas is in that episode.
Is he really?
Yeah. Wait, what was Telly Savalas' fake name? I forget.
I don't know.
Remember he ate the suckers and all the time?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Kojak.
He was in Kojak. Yeah, right.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Well, now that most of the night's gone, let's see. Let's get a little.
Yeah. What kind of interview is this going to be like?
I don't know. It could be good. Could be bad.
All right.
Let's welcome to the show one more time, Mr. Glen VonMaluski.
Hey,
Glenn. Now, most likely to wreck a Camaro. Please go on.
Yes. One time I drove this car sideways up on two wheels.
Are you kidding me?
No. It was actually a Ford Thunderbird, and I launched that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that was a bad story. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's it. I thought for sure you actually did like a two-wheel. That would be.
I did a little Dukes of Hazzard on this sumbitch, and it went airborne. It was
nice.
Yeah.
I did that at my '79 Dodge Omni on some railroad tracks once.
Oh.
But I only probably got like a foot of air.
Yeah.
So
if you measured it, that's probably what it is.
And then you like hit the ground. Boom. Like.
But I felt like I was flying.
It's so good. Did you make the noise?
No. It was a rather sudden thing. I saw a telephone pole in front of me. That was a bad deal.
Ooh.
But I survived.
Right.
Wow. Well, that's because your car was gigantic.
Yes.
And you were little.
Right.
That telephone pole didn't have a chance.
Exactly.
That's great. Okay, Mark, let's get this thing going.
Right. So as a youth, what were the circumstances when you first became hooked on arcade games? And don't deny it. Just admit it.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we can talk about that. It was a happy time, a simpler time, if you will.
A simpler time. Back in my day.
So I was born in '74. I'll date myself since you were doing your '69s.
Right. 69. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was born in '74, so I'm totally a figment of that decade. And I just remembered going to Rainbow Lanes, the bowling alley in Fremont, Ohio, when I grew up, and they had some arcades there. They had pinballs, and I was like, "This is the best damn thing." This is fantastic. And then, there was a hotel in town. We had Asteroids and another restaurant where they had a Miss Pac-Man, Joust. Joust was one of my favorites.
Oh, that game is the best.
Yes.
I love Joust.
Spy Hunter, which we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to actually learn the jingle and play it for you on my guitar tonight, but I didn't have time. I'm sorry. And Zaxxon was one that I remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
By the time I dropped the Zaxxon, and I'm like, huh.
I'm like,
should probably strap that. So.
After The Last Starfighter came out, that movie, The Last Starfighter, that I don't even remember what that was about, but
Robert Preston, the Music Man, was in there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen The Music Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, I can't remember the name of his character, but
Centauri.
Centauri, right? And
he was from Rylos.
He had a clone in the back seat, right? That he sent out once they shook hands.
But yeah, I mean, like
Beta was the name of the guy in the back seat.
We had Ted Hooper on the show not long ago, and he's the only guy to ever make. Well, he's not the only guy, but he's one of very few guys to make an actual Last Starfighter game.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's like down to the. I mean, it's screen perfect, and then it's got some guy from Europe did the software, so it's like very, very cool.
Nice. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So you were gonna say Zaxxon's just like the Last Starfighter, so I was gonna have to like eject you from the show.
No, I don't know why it reminds me of it though.
Right.
I just remember playing it, So I guess what got me into, now that I'm in the middle age, my kids call it.
Steve Murky says, "Awesome, Zaxxon is the greatest." As a boat anchor. But he didn't say that. I added the boat anchor.
I mean, they're not perfect boat anchors, but pretty good.
No, they're very good boat anchors.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a little drag, but
That's right.
Anyway, continue with your story. I'm not going to interrupt you again. Just go ahead.
No, you're fine. So it was probably this midlife crisis maybe that I started having, and a Flash Gordon pinball machine popped up on Craigslist, and I went, oh shit. So it was like the movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he gets sucked in and like all of a sudden he's having all these flashbacks, right? And when I saw Flash Gordon on Craigslist, I went, oh Christ. So I was 8 years old. I was watching TV with my dad, who was a teacher. We were home at Easter, and it seemed like Flash Gordon movie always came on at Easter break. So all of a sudden I was, boom, 8 years old again. And I thought, holy shit, that was a cool feeling. And the only other feeling I get that with is classic cars. Now, I don't have a classic car. I don't have a Ford LTD, but if you said, Glenn, Ford LTD, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm back with my pinball. Yeah.
Fully erect. Is that what is happening? Wait, what are you doing, Adam? What is that?
Nothing. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, okay.
I was just I was having a little trying to do a little soundtrack there, but because we'll probably get banned for playing anything,
right,
like this.
Oh no.
Oh.
Savior of the universe. I met Sam Jones like a few weeks ago. I told you guys about that in the last episode, right?
Where was he?
Sam Jones, the Flash Gordon actor.
Yeah,
he was
he
at
does
the
shows.
Houston Arcade Expo.
Oh.
And for $20, he would take your picture, and I have a photo with him. And then I actually bought 2 posters, and he would he signed his name and stuff, and he's like, how do you want me to make it out? And my wife, her name is Samantha, and so I'm like, why don't you write from Sam to Sam, and then sign your name? So I got my wife one, and then just one for me where he signed it and stuff like that. Super cool guy, very nice, very approachable. Anytime I feel like there's an arcade expo, as long as you can find a Flash Gordon pinball to sit next to him, it's like badass. Like that Lou Ferrigno photo of you, it looked like they were like, hey, let's find a Hulk pinball, and then that's like the perfect formula. Find the pinball, find the actor, bam. And the one I'm waiting for right now is the guy who played Steve Austin from the Bionic Man. Why can't I think of that? Lee Majors. That would be kind of cool.
There you go. Yeah.
That would be cool to meet Lee Majors and then have the Bionic Man pinball machine right next to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's a terrible pinball machine, but whatever. It's just
Yeah. They had the Munsters. They had Eddie and Marilyn down in Texas a few years ago.
Oh.
And Eddie owns the casket car.
Right.
And then there was a Hearst also that was fun. So.
So when Adam goes away, that means he's gone to pee-pee.
Oh.
But I have other questions I have for you. Okay, so now this is an interesting one. Now at any point, like I know that you had a love for these games, but did you stop playing them for any length of time? Like, did all of a sudden you become girl crazy, or did you just decide, fuck this, I'm never touching this again because of this like bad experience or whatever? I don't know. And then like, did that ever happen? Like any scenario in that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In my 20s, as soon as I moved away from home, I, relinquished anything I had. So I moved to Detroit and started working in automotive industry, and I just became an adult overnight kind of deal. So, I gave it up for quite a while, but some of my favorite like Nintendo games were Duck Hunter, of course, because that was awesome. You could shoot a gun at a TV screen and score points with the cans flying in the air. Mike Tyson Punch Out and Contra. If you remember, Contra was one of my favorite Nintendo games. So, now I get pissed at my kids because they play on their devices, but that was mine.
Right.
And Kung Fu was another Nintendo one. But the arcades, when they kind of went dormant. I still hear Spy Hunter though. I love Spy Hunter. It's such a cool game.
Whenever I think of Spy Hunter, I think of the potentiometer on my pedal, and I'm like, God dang you, I can't get it just right. It's just that is a tough one to get right there. So, and I think you mentioned this before, but what rekindled your interest? What was that game that you said?
It was Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. Okay, it was.
Yep. So that was about 11 years ago. I bought my Flash Gordon, and that was the only and first pinball machine I had. I still have it now. I had it re-stenciled. It's not leaving, But, once I saw that and I started looking at it, I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. I can do this. I do factory automation. I would program robots and vision systems to build cars and trucks and Chevy Tahoes.
That's really cool.
So.
I love that. That's awesome. So you're an engineer by trade.
I'm a tech school kid, so no, I'm not an engineer. I just figure shit out and roll with it.
I like that. I want to be that person. Then I can fix my fire truck.
You are.
What's wrong with your fire truck? Is it still?
It won't steer. The back won't steer. The front steer is fine.
So, and you've confirmed your potentiometer on the back is good?
It's not potentiometer, it's optical. But yeah, swap the optical boards. But yeah, I mean, let's not talk about my stuff. Let's talk about Glen.
Right.
So Glen, Flash, same era, Buck Rogers.
Yes.
I need one of those.
Yep. I have a lead. I'm working on it for you.
All right, that's awesome. I just love the back glass. Flash Gordon's a fantastic game. I'm a big fan of Solid State. That era is my era.
Yeah, I collected Gottlieb System 1s for a little bit. And then my damn employer decided, oh, you can go back to Houston. So I sold them. And then he was like, oh, my bad, you can stay. And I'm like, ah. And so I have a bitter, like, I had a Charlie's Angels, a Hercules, I think, of some kind. I don't know. Anyway, those are what got me. Those were what got me hooked in. So I totally feel you when you say you saw that Flash and you felt that connection.
Yeah, and actually Harlem Globetrotters is another. So I just got one of those this year.
Oh.
I'm getting new decals put on it. The playfield's beautiful, but I went and saw Harlem Globetrotters back in the day.
Oh, cool.
When it was curly,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Man.
Oh, love it.
So
Mark,
good.
you have a basketball pin. You have two, in fact.
Yes, I have two NBA fast breaks. They are linked with the modem chips and whatever the other chip. I guess there's a memory chip to hold the memory and stuff like that. Super fun. I have I also have the thing that goes across the top that says player 1, player 2. Totally recommend that. That is like an insane head-to-head pinball. I don't know why it's not more popular, but
I would love to. I would actually, Mark, I'd love to get one. That's actually on my list. I'd like to get NBA Fast Break, and I'd like to see if there's a way for us to do it over the internet.
Oh,
Right. I think there is. I mean, Greg from Arcade Impossible had, he'd put together something to link to racing games, and apparently he had some success, although he just hasn't really posted about it.
Sure. Sure.
And really all this thing is doing is sending a 300 baud output and, send and receive. Those are the only two wires that need to connect between the two machines. So getting them to port through a VPN or something that makes it easy for the machines to connect over the internet, I think that would be like a done deal. I even told George Gomez, who designed that particular game, we're going to do this eventually. What do you think? And he's like, oh yeah, let me know when you get it done, and I'll believe you and stuff.
George was great. He was really fun to have on the show. We should have him on again. Yes. So Voices of Fine Young Cannibals, aka Dan, says that he rebuilt an Atari Hercules from the ground up when he was 15.
Oh man, isn't that the big super?
That's like the big Atari
the mama
with the cue ball as a cue ball as a pinball.
I love it.
I hate it. It's not very fun unless, I think the solenoids and everything were too weak.
I play it at the end of the night when I'm really kind of toasted.
Sure.
And so I think it's fantastic.
Oh, yes.
In real life, I may be completely wrong though. So
maybe it was just the one I played that was not as good. They do wear out.
Where did you play it at?
I played it at Blainbrook Pinball, or Blainbrook Bowling is what it's at.
I think I did mine at Fun Spot had one, so I did it there.
Yeah. So, and then Dan also goes on to say his first pinball was, it was a repair job that he started at Arcade. He started in Daytona, so he worked on the Daytona. Do you guys ever been to the Daytona Boardwalk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Dan worked on that one of those arcades down there. So that's it. We got to have Dan on the show sometime. I think it'd be great. So, okay, next question for you. And I want to pivot to your, you say you're not, not an engineer by trade, but you are. Okay, so first of all,
yeah,
we all hate hauling around pinball machines and arcade games. For God's sakes, pinball machines are one thing because you can split them into 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 pieces. But like with a arcade game, we're talking 300 pounds. For
on a good day
for Ataris, right? Because they're freaking beasts, and they're 72 inches tall. So tell us about this stair climbing dolly that you've invented.
Yeah, so that actually, if you ever seen the movie Robots, there's a line in there. It says, "See a need, fill a need," right?
Yeah.
And this Escalera that I have, and it's a nice dolly. It's heavy as hell.
Yeah.
It took me down that flight of stairs. So I was bringing up an AC/DC premium from a basement.
Oh, no.
And the homeowner says, hey, I should tell you my steps are loose. And I go, I don't know what that means, but I'm on the number 6. I'm just going for it because I'm a bullheaded, German Midwest kid.
Yeah, sure.
And so
VonMaluski.
Right. It means his carpet wasn't stapled down.
Oh.
And when you're on carpet with an Escalera and a ball, it becomes a wet noodle. And then AC/DC ends up at the bottom upside down with the Escalera and Glen on top of it because I couldn't let go in time. And bruised ribs and an x-ray and an ER visit. So I thought, God, there's got to be a simpler way.
Yeah.
There has to be something else. And there's not. It all sucks.
Yeah.
So I started looking at companies who made these stair climbing dollies, and no one makes anything for us, the pinball and arcade collectors.
Right.
So I approached a company and I said, hey, this is what I want to do. And I always round up. So they're like, oh, we can do 400-pound capacity. I said, nope, I need 6.
Sure.
Give me 6. So our stair climbing dolly will do 600 pounds and 15 flights of stairs.
Wow.
Is it flight is a step or
no, flight is like 10 steps
all the way to a whatever the half point is. I forget.
That's like 150 steps.
Correct. That's on a single charge. So the other thing we have on that is the first version has caster wheels. So when you get to our Minnesota split level homes,
yeah,
and you go down for so people in Minnesota get it. they're like, oh God, I need caster
Absolutely.
wheels because I get down there and it sucks to turn this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a caster version, and what I'm working on now is a non-caster version. 2 versions, one shorter for pinballs and another 70 inches for arcades, if it'll work. So I may give that to one of you guys to see if...
well, I'll tell you, I've got a flight of stairs. It's like, Mark paid movers to get his Tron machine out of here.
Well, not only the Tron, but also one time I bought a Galaga, and I tried to take it up the stairs, and I like killed myself almost twice. And then forget it. I hired local motion movers.
Yeah.
and they got it out of there. But
well, mine is like 14 steps up cement from the basement.
Cement
and then
walls,
there's
cement steps, everything.
Yeah, and then it's a sharp pivot at the very top.
Yep.
So it'd be a perfect test.
I like it. Yeah.
So one of the worst tests you could possibly do. Right. I've got it.
And he also has a carpeted staircase as well that goes up to the kitchen.
Yeah, but that goes in the kitchen. Although that'd be fun to try.
Right.
Yeah. That's more stairs. That's like 20 steps. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, the only thing that scares me now is these Jersey Jack games that weigh 400 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and I have my wife as my guinea pig. I'm like, stand downstairs and just give me a little up pressure. But the tracks that we use, so it's a skid, tank system. It's got tracks on it. And it always contacts 2 to 3 steps at a time.
Nice.
So more surface area, right? And it's a skid resistant, kind of like your basketball shoes would be, where you don't leave, black marks on the court when you, so it's a scuff resistant track. And right now the dolly weighs 80 pounds.
It's amazing.
That's crazy.
I watched the video. I was like,
80 pounds is perfect. I mean, that's perfect.
That's like a dog.
I know. Yeah. My dog is 75 pounds.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, she's a baby. I mean, and I lift her into the car. That's no problem, So I'm good on 80 pounds. I can do that.
Yeah. So
all right.
My target audience was the average home collector who's got like 5 or 6 pins in his basement, and it sucks.
I have 4 pins and 22 arcade games.
There you go.
I'm maybe not the average collector.
I'm in Texas in a 1-story house with no basement, so I need to move, I guess.
Dude, you could use it anyway. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it seems like whenever I go to get a game, they're like, it's upstairs, so bring 2 people, and I'm like, okay, right. I will come. And
didn't you pick my Miss Pac-Man up from someone's second story?
I did, but me and Aaron both went and got it down there. So,
you guys were, it's freaking fantastic. You did it, so thank you. That's awesome. All right, so next question, Mark, you roll with this.
Oh, so the next question. Let me think about this. Your heroes in the arcade collecting hobby, like who do you look up to as far as mentors for collecting? Like, do you have like best buds where you like, hey, let's go out and get a score or something?
Or even just in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually I don't know, that sounds cheesy, but it's my customers, because my customers have the best resources available, and they're willing to work for me too. So they see how hard I work for them and getting them the games they need. Even if I don't have them, like Adam, you mentioned Buck Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, in a month, I'll have you a Buck Rogers.
That'd be awesome.
Right? So it's not, hey, I'm trying to sell you the newest Willy Wonka LE, and I'm going to do a podcast because I sell these things. It's because that I actually care.
That's cool.
And having a local community to feed off of, to me, is huge.
No, I think this is one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about. So this is good you brought this up, because you're in southern Minnesota, and we talked a little bit about this because we don't have a lot of pinball dealers in the state anymore. In fact, we have a few. I mean, I don't know. This Pinball Place is probably one of the few that I know of that's still very active in satisfying customers' needs where pinball are concerned. And like Big Al, who was here for decades, is gone now because he's retired and he can't do it anymore. And so one of his guys, and John Ross, who worked for Pinball Plus, he's working out of his house. So, I mean, how many retailers are there anymore? Really not that many.
No, really, there's Peter's Billiards and us.
Yeah,
for the homeowner.
And Peter's Billiards is really a pool table company. They have pins, but not that many.
That's not the one in Minneapolis on 62, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So if you need anything fixed after you get your game, what happens?
Yep.
So this is why we started the dealership. Is I started looking at it. I bought my first new inbox pin, which was Iron Maiden, and I called Stern, and I said, "Hey, if I have a problem, because keep in mind, I made my living in automotive and service work and field service, right? So if I have a problem with this unit, who comes and fixes it? How do I get some support?" And so they gave me a list of 6 people. 3 of them were dead.
Oof.
Right. And another guy is Gary on Craigslist. He fixes EMs and,
Oh, I know Gary. Yes.
Yeah.
Gary in White Bear Lake?
Yeah.
Not scary, Gary.
Authorized Stern repair. And I'm like,
Nuh-uh.
Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
So another was Tim Neighbors, John Ross, and then Sanders.
Wow.
So
and it's funny because like some of the older Lieberman used to do pin.
Yep.
But they're done. They have American Amusements. There's one guy running that shop, and they only sell like 3 or 4 used pins like every 6 months. They're not that's not their business. They're in vending,
Yeah.
So like you're niche right now. You're
niche.
Yeah.
Yep. You see a need, fill a need. See, and that's how I saw this, right? And I go, well, God, it's not the person who can do it, it's the person who's willing to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I love that movie Robots. Isn't Robin Williams in that too?
Yes, he is.
Oh, I love that movie. I'm gonna have to watch that again. It's a good movie. So, okay. You're the Pinball Place, and your co-owner is Sam. Ooh, hello.
Sam's here. John Vorwerk.
They said hi. we said hi to you. I mean, I messed it up. Sorry.
John, what's his name?
Vorwerk. Vorwerk. Vorwerk.
Another German
in New Ulm, Minnesota. So
who knew?
He's on the board for like the Shell's, the beer tasting.
Oh yeah, Shell's. That's great. They make good beer.
They do. So what I'm trying to work on him to do is he's doubling our square footage at the shop. So having a showroom where you can come play pins is one of the requirements by Stern.
Yeah.
And we're doubling our square footage. We should be able to hit 48 to 50 pins.
Now I saw on the website you're closed due to COVID restrictions. Is that true right now, or?
So they're reopened on Saturday and Sundays.
Okay.
And what we do is it's a $20 cover charge. You come in and play a free play all night.
Nice.
Okay,
That's a great deal. I mean, like pins are $1 to play anyway, at the very least.
Right. 20 games, bam, done.
Right.
Yeah. And there's an awesome little pinball joint. It's a coffee shop in Minneapolis. Have you been there?
Which one?
Let me look it up real quick. Because I can't remember the name of it, but
I was just at one, but it had a bar and some food in it.
Yeah. No, it's different. Let's see, Minneapolis. I hope it's still open because it's fantastic. It's fun. So it's called Cafetto.
What?
Yeah. And inside Cafetto, in the basement, they've got like a bunch of pinball machines, like 20 pinball machines. It's fantastic. You should check it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, you might want to call them.
Coffee.
Yeah, you should call, and it's good coffee. They also have flavored sodas. So, If you're a non-drinker, great place. If you like coffee in the morning, go play pinball at freaking 8 a.m. It's awesome. And they have a Jurassic Park. They have some new pinballs, and they have a bunch of old ones. There was a bunch that were maybe needed some love. But, I mean, 20, 30 pinball machines in a basement of a coffee house, it's pretty freaking cool.
That is.
So check them out. Caffetto. It's Caffetto. And definitely you should reach out to them, Glenn, because you could get some business.
Yeah. And it looks like they have a lot of nice classics. That's what I like.
Yeah. It's a cool little place. And we also have Tilt here, which is great. And the same owners of that own Mortimer's off Lindale. And so they've got pins in there as well. But yeah, I mean, like there's a good pin scene in Minneapolis. But not many people that service them.
No, not at all.
Or sell them. So.
Yeah. So that's what we're kind of, trying to round it out and do, new game sales. We do restorations. We do repairs. Now,
sweet.
With the repairs, you got to bring it to us,
Mm-hmm,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And what better to use to get that machine down steps of stairs than Wait, so does your dolly have like a code name or a nickname or?
We're calling it the Pin Crawler.
The Pin Crawler.
Oh, that's a great name.
That is good.
Yeah, my friend Matt, he came up with that, and I go, oh my god, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Yeah. You can't lose.
Flash Gordon was your first pin, like the love of your life pin.
Yep.
So, what about arcade games? Do you have any arcade games? Was Joust your favorite? What would you say is your favorite?
I still go back to Spy Hunter Pole Position.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Those two. Now, I suck at driving games.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I launched that T-Bird off of a embankment. But yeah, it's not the.
One of the chatters wants to know what year that T-Bird was.
Oh, shit.
So late 80s?
I mean, I would have to see the lenses on the brakes to figure that out.
Well, T-Birds changed in the late 80s. They got long like a tornado.
Yeah, but in the 70s, there were slight differences in those lenses. I know because I accidentally backed into my buddy Kevin's T-Bird and broke his taillights, and I'm like, oh.
Right.
So I had to go with him with my money, the only money I had. That was in this closet, actually, right behind this camera. and the worst part is he was with this girl I went out with, and then she broke up with me, and then she was going out with him, and I'm like, this is a fucking stupid thing. Oh, hey, back to you guys. Back to you.
Okay, so we talked about what your favorites were. What is your bottom 5 pinball?
Bottom.
And your worst 5 pins, or let's just say your worst 3 pins and maybe your worst 2 arcades.
I'm going to lump the pins together because I look at it from a service standpoint.
Sure.
Like, I always have to fix this shit. So, any of the Sega games.
Oh.
If that's South Park, if it's Star Wars Trilogy, if it's, what was the other one I worked on? But they all have this common failure. Like, we have a Star Wars Trilogy right now. I've had it in my house, at the Cambria event, and at John's place, and it's worked fine in 4 outlets. But you plug it in that 5th outlet, and all of a sudden it cycles power, like mid-play. What the hell's going on? And it haunts me. It's one of those phantom things that I freak out about.
Starship Troopers, maybe? Or no?
Well, that's one.
Maverick, Lost World, Jurassic Park. I'm trying.
I had a Data East that was doing it kind of the same thing, and before it was Sega.
Clearly, Mark has a list he hates.
What? Apollo 13, Batman Forever, Baywatch, Godzilla, GoldenEye, Golden Q.
Are you just listing off themes you don't like, or are these pins that are actually problematic?
Random. Lost in Space, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Maverick.
Okay, first of all, all right, Lost in Space. Wait a minute. Stop. You
These
stop
are all
it.
Sega pinballs from 94 to 99.
You shut your mouth. Okay, first of all, I love Lost in Space. That game is really fun.
I like it.
The theme is horrible because it's based on the movie, which which has Matt LeBlanc in it, right?
I think he's great, actually. Matt LeBlanc.
Well, he's the shining star in
but he plays like the actor that played in the TV show. They're very similar to the.
But my point is, Lost in Space.
And he never says, "How you doing?"
Yeah, well, that should have never been a pin in the first place because the franchise didn't do well. But the game is insanely fun. I mean, there's like a 7 pinball multi-ball in that.
Oh, okay.
With like a freaking magnet in the middle that's just, it's outrageous. I love that game. And I hated the movie.
Oh.
Freaking hated the movie. So themes aside, like I think there's room to hate a pin because it sucks,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of people that don't like Hercules. It's a fun idea. The execution is mediocre, and the gameplay is,
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway,
I really think that the theme picks, the customer picks the theme.
Right. So back to the guest, your worst 3 pins, and obviously Trilogy's one of them.
It's got to be System 1s. Got the System 1s.
All of them.
There's just things that, again, from a repair standpoint,
sure,
the shit haunts me. Right. And when you find these gremlins in it, and you're like, oh my God, why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the engineer, but from when I have to add 7 ground mods to a game,
that's weird, isn't it? That's weird. It's like, how did they ever make it onto the floor in the first place?
Yes. Yeah.
That's weird. Like, I mean, like my 4 pins that I have are, 2 EMs and 2 solid states, and none of them are like stellar. But everybody has fun playing them when they come over,
Yeah. And they all work great until you move them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. And so any arcade games you hate? You're allowed to hate Zaxxon. Oh, wait a minute. You like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Zaxxon. What about Zaxxon 2?
That's Super Zaxxon.
Super Zaxxon, right.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about Tron. And the reason is because my 25 cents that I would have spent only it lasts 5 seconds.
On Tron?
That's the feeling. Yeah, I get my ass kicked on Tron every time. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
I just die.
Well, you get better at it. But it's a tricky game in the first place because you have 4 different games, right? And they're random.
Yes.
They're randomized, the 4 games. So if you go to the right, it's the light cycles. The next time you put a quarter in, it might be down.
Yeah,
true.
You get screwed. You're like, oh, now I got to fight the grid bugs. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play the light cycles. Although, for the ColecoVision, there's a homebrew that they made that's just the light cycles.
That's it?
Yeah, you can just play the light cycles, and it's arcade authentic.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It's funny how they just picked the one. So there's no like selection screen.
Nope, you just play the lights.
Okay.
Which is kind of like the movie, right? There was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still like 1942. I still play that shit on my
42
phone.
or 43?
42.
42. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the first one. I mean, they're very similar. I mean,
no, 43 is way better.
I mean, there's more stuff for you to pick up, but
right, it is. I don't know.
I mean, where did 44 go? Come on, guys.
Well, they went backward. They did 41.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, they were like less is more. I don't know why,
but I don't know. I was like, that's 42 is a classic. You can buy that right now, by the way, on New Wave Toys has a replica of 1942 you can pick up for $119.
Ugh. Anyway, so I thought of something.
Sure.
This is the next question officially.
Okay.
Is there any arcade or pinball that it's the one that got away? Like you almost got it.
That's a good question.
Yeah. You have to think about it. Like, and it may not be that it got away, but you just never seem to be able to get it. Like, you want it.
I have a story about that.
Okay, I will entertain Adam. Go
well,
ahead.
let's Glenn, go ahead.
Tell me all about. No, Adam, please. I would like that. Let's bookmark these. Bookend these.
Yeah.
All right, so
that got away.
Really quickly, I when I was first collecting, I had just a few games. I had a Miss Pac-Man. I had a Tron. I had the Tron table the cocktail table, and then I had a Robotron. And I really wanted a Star Wars, but I couldn't really afford Star Wars at $600 at the time. So I went out to this place, this guy's place in I think it was Blaine, and I drove out there with a buddy of mine, and we were looking at this Star Wars. He's like, "Yeah, and check this out. I got a switch inside here. You can switch to Empire Strikes Back." So it had like the Clay Cowgill switch in it, and I'm like, and he's like, "Yeah, I want $600 for it, or I think I wanted $700 or something." I'm like, "Well, I don't really have that kind of money," and then I said, "Would you take $500?" He goes, "No." So I left, and the next day it was gone. And Star Wars, I don't care who you are from our age group. That's a good game. That's a really good game. And
we're at 5 standing by.
I was kicking myself for several years because I didn't get one. And then later in 20, I guess it was 2011. I probably asked that guy in like 2007 or something, or 8. And in 2011, I got one finally for $600, and it worked for 3 days and broke.
So you still ended up paying the same amount.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny irony.
Yeah. And I love that story, and I've told it on the show before, but I got that whole game inside of a Ford Escape. Not the new one, not the, crazy little, mama soccer mom car, but the old one that was like a truck, which is still super small. I got the whole game inside there. I was riding with my head on the windshield. I thought if I get pulled over from Hudson, they're going to give me a ticket. They're going to give me a ticket, or they're going to go, "That is so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
You're free to go."
I love that when you get the full on Midwest cop.
Yeah.
So I got pulled over once in my Camaro, and he's like, "This car is freaking awesome." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it is.
So Glenn, what got away?
So I still do not have an ice cold beer.
Oh, yeah.
We can help you with that. We
can help you with that. We know
I know a guy. Yeah. But the other one was probably Fathom, and I went to look at it at this guy's house, and the entire playfield was just roached down to the wood, bare wood.
Sure.
And he's like, $900, and my uncle says anyone who knows pinball is going to know what this is. And I go, "Yeah, I know, but how do I fix this?"
Yeah.
Right. Again, I look at all this shit from how much time do I invest in it?
Yeah, exactly.
How much money do I invest?
Yep.
To make this a working game?
Yeah.
And I go, no one makes this goddamn playfield. So what do I do? And for $900, I missed a Fathom. That's probably
crazy.
the one I got that got away, but I would have had to wait 10 years with it sitting in my basement.
Sure.
To get there.
Yeah, that's tough. Mark, what got away from you? Nothing. Nothing. I have them all.
Let me think about that. I feel like I almost got a Dragon's Lair, but so more recently, and it's the same thing with Brian. It was the was it the hockey game? Remember?
Hat trick?
Hat trick? Was that it? The 4-player hat trick? I don't know.
Oh, that's like yeah.
I have a succession of them, so I'm used to disappointment, and at this point, I'm so burned out. I'm like, well, it'll happen again. I mean, I had so many discs of Tron Environmental, almost situations, and when I finally got mine, I paid $5,000 for it, and all of the whole machine had been sort of taken apart, and people had used like brad nails and staples and just inappropriate, things to keep it together. It was,
Sure.
So it was kind of fun and exciting to take it apart and put it back together and learn how it works. And
Exciting and new.
Yeah. But offhand, I can't really think of one right now. I guess I need to go to my VAPS.
What's
want
funny
list.
is like I'm watching this guy. He's got a freaking Pong and a. I mean,
it's not. That's an Apple. That's a monochrome Apple monitor in there. Which, as soon as I get the PCB working, it should be fine.
Yeah.
It's the exact size it needs to be in there. But the computer space is a nightmare because the PCB for that is broken in 3 places.
It just seems to me that somebody who has a computer space and a Pong behind him is not like starving for any games anymore.
I mean, I have a lot of projects. That is true.
Okay, last question, and then we're gonna move this party to the after party. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So last question is what are you working on right now that okay, so I already answered this question. I can't answer this question.
No.
What is perplexing you the most right now in your hobby? And that's a broad question. It doesn't have to be fixing it. Could be something else. Could be I can't get people into my store. I can't fire up my arcade. Like one of my biggest issues is I want to have a party at the end of January and sometime mid-February, and I'm worried about Omicron, right? So like, how do I do that?
You get an extra booster shot now.
Right. I have a booster. I'm good to go, right? But so like my point is, like I want to have people over, and I'm terrified to have people over.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. So what's the biggest question in the hobby? Honestly, it's sales tax.
Oh, really?
Yep. So Minnesota residents pay Minnesota sales tax.
It's a lot of money.
Somehow in this hobby, we've been inundated with this fact that we should be exempt from that. And I'm going,
probably not.
But we don't do it with anything else. If you go buy a brand new Ford or whatever, right? Chevy Suburban.
We do it with clothing.
Do you drive to Wisconsin or Iowa so you don't pay sales tax? I'm going, why the hell has this hobby been inundated with that mindset?
I don't know, but
so weird.
Let me tell you, I've been audited by the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
They were very fucking intense. I ended up, and by the way, I had an accountant, a guy who does he specializes in people with like weird hobbies and stuff like that. Like
Is his name Mike?
I have a DeLorean and all of this. There's a whole thing going on here. Anyway, and then I didn't owe them anything, but they were a-holes with the capital A. So if they think that you're gonna give them some extra money, they will like screw with you, and that's why I'm like better safe than sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Are you gonna start doing that, or
so we do everything by the book?
Yes.
Because we're supposed to. But it's funny how a lot of the community is like, well, I'll buy from Wisconsin or Iowa or Nebraska because then I save sales tax. And I'm like, this is so weird. There is no other thing. If I go buy chicken at the grocery store, if I buy a Chevy Suburban, anything else, I don't think like this.
Yeah.
So why has this community been molded into thinking I should be exempt somehow? It's freaking weird to me. So what I've seen in the last several weeks is other dealers, Colorado, Wisconsin, they're all charging their customers Minnesota sales tax. And I went, ooh, I've got a level playing field now.
Wow.
Look at me.
I think it's based on where the customer is, really.
That's crazy.
They should, if you're buying a machine in Wisconsin, you should be paying the Minnesota sales tax. I mean, that's the way Amazon does it. So don't worry, they'll have a fun person calling them one day that's like, hey, I'd like to look into all of your bank accounts and your credit cards and everything and stuff like that. And then if you ask them, hey, just tell me what caught your attention, and they'll be like, no. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just show you everything. And so,
yeah. So as long as I know I'm doing everything by the book, I feel good.
Yeah, you're smart, very smart. I'll give you her number so that you can share it.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna wind up the show now. Mark, we got to do this thing.
Let's
And
wind up the show.
Glenn, stick with us. We're gonna do a little sign off, and then we're gonna, and then I've got a link to an after party we're gonna try for a little while, where we can chat with our chatters. Like we can actually talk to them with our phones, like
telephones.
Telephones.
How are they gonna connect to us? Should we talk about that?
We're gonna connect via the intranet.
The intranet.
Yes, and so it's a new thing. It's
okay.
It was invented by the military.
It was invented by David Lightman. He was a
David Lightman,
computer developer.
Yes. Shall we play a game?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna sign off. But first of all, I want to, Glenn, thanks for being on the show.
Very entertaining.
That was really fun. Like I would love to have you back on. And
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
I want to be a beta tester for your stair climbing dolly.
Yeah, I just want to get some stairs first.
And I was trying to work a Dolly Relford joke into this whole thing, and I just can't.
Yeah, Bob Zarzadeck apparently could not do that too, allegedly.
But because, first of all, Casey's not on, and if we can't,
Right. If you're not playing 80s music, he's not interested.
He's like, this show sucks now.
No, forget it.
But you know what? If we do Discord, we can do whatever we want. We can play 80s music in the chat.
Is that true? Nice.
Yeah, nobody will give a shit. We can have a real What's in the Juke after What's in the Juke. It'll be What's in the Juke after party. Yeah. Check it out, man.
Okay. I'll see you on TikTok Live.
Okay. You got your show notes ready, buddy?
Yeah. So, hello. I wrote the show notes.
Hello. Hello. I'm not new. And you've already updated them. That's so awesome.
Yes.
You're the best. You know what's the best? You know what's good about you, Mark?
What?
You're
my
best.
penis size? Wait, no, I don't know.
Are we gonna call this like Juke Me Off?
Juke Me Off. It's a new segment. Oh, I didn't want to. I didn't mean to say segment. I don't know what happened.
Oh man, you said segment.
Oh. Oh, all right. Well, here we go. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening in. This has been the Double R's Arcade Radio.
Check out our website, RcadeRadio.com. That's RcadeRadio.com for all of our social media and swag links.
That's what I meant. Call and leave comments. Just like Bobby Z at 612-548-GAME or 4263 for those who can't spell.
Are you enjoying the show?
No.
No. Well,
the show sucks.
Pick up some Arcade Radio swag regardless over at teespring.com/arcaderadio or consider supporting our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/arcaderadio. There's multiple tiers. They start at $3, and any bit helps Adam with the cost of running the show.
And you know what else?
What?
Remember the time we got banned for playing this song that I made?
Oh, those bastards.
Oh my God. I remember it's like, YouTube's like, oh, by the way, you stole this from some Russians.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, subscribe to our Twitch channel and follow us on the little notification thingy. If you just follow us, that's good. If you want to subscribe and you're like a Prime user, we actually get moolah for that. So subscribe to us if you're a Prime user. It's free for you and you don't pay anything. If you don't want to pay anything, just follow us. And we're good with that. And also there's going to be an after party tonight. Putting a link in the chat.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, everybody. If you like what you're hearing, consider dropping a 5-star review on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you consume our podcast. Actually, I recommend going to iTunes rather.
Yeah.
And look up Arcade Radio and then just post a review for us, please. Come on.
So that'd be good. And I'll even post, if we get like a couple more 5-star reviews, I'll start putting stuff up there again.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that's going to be it for tonight's show from the Arcade Radio team. We hope you had a blast. And we will see you on the next episode. Please take care and have a good night. And we'll see you in the after party. And I'm going to post the link in the chat if you don't know what that means.
If you're listening to our podcast, forget it. It's over.
It's over. The podcast.
It's over.
It's over. Ha!
Only murders in the building.
I love that show.
Oh, it's so good.
That show was so good. They're gonna win some Emmys for
You
sure.
know what's also good? The Shrink Next Door. Have you heard of that?
I've not seen that.
That is good. It's on Apple TV though. It's
I've got access to that 3 months for free.
There you go. Get in there.
I love Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso's so good. If you haven't
He
watched
never
that,
actually holds a lasso. That's one.
no,
thing
he
I've
doesn't.
noticed.
He's
Not
got a
even,
great,
like Indiana Jones, like every 10 minutes. Basically.
but he does have a great mustache.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I mean, it's part of the show.
Right.
All right,
I mean, Glenn, your mustache also looking pretty good. So.
yeah, he's got a good goatee.
There you go.
Goatee.
He gives a.
Right.
All right.
I can't. I'm not allowed to grow a goatee. I have to do a full beard.
Wow, we made it to the whole end of that. I should probably hang up the show now.
Where's the line? Yeah. I don't hear the beep.
You want to hear a beep?
The dial tone? Maybe?
Like
there
that?
it is. Are we offline?
We can be.